volcanic material. Write it
एक
down.
सेकंड सर.
volcanic material. चलो इसमें पहले लाइन थोड़ा देख लेते हैं. what it has been written. देखो, volcanic materials discharge during the eruption. During the eruption means when the volcano is what? Active. Include what? Gases, vapor, lava, fragmented materials and ashes. ठीक है, तो अब इसको लिखो. Volcanic material includes different types of gases, water vapors, different type of gases, then water vapors, lava, fragmented materials means the different size of the rocks, that is called fragmented materials, and ashes. ठीक है. देन देखो सेकंड पॉइंट क्या लिखा हुआ है. Vapor and gases, steam and vapor constitute 60 to 90% of the total gases discharged during the volcanic eruption. So many times they will ask you the question, what is the percentage of what? Steam and vapor in the volcanic material. So you can take what? 60 to 90% of the total gases. So उसको लिख लो. Steam and vapor constitute 60 to 90%. Steam and vapor constitute 60 to 90% of the total gaseous discharge. So many times they will ask this question, total gaseous discharge during the volcanic eruption. ठीक है. Then लिखो, some main gases are, write it down, some main volcanic gases are, they will give you the name of the gases. Some main volcanic gases are, so write it down, carbon dioxide. Some main volcanic gases are, so we're going to take what? The first one is carbon dioxide, then second nitrogen oxide, then third one is your sulfur dioxide. That is, you can say the harmful, you can say the means if respiration, if that gas is present in the atmosphere, that is very harmful during the respiration. So sulfur dioxide, then hydrogen, and carbon monoxide. ठीक है. देन देखो नेक्स्ट पॉइंट क्या लिखा हुआ है. Certain compounds are also ejected with the volcanic gases. They are what? Sulfuric hydrogen, sulfurated hydrogen, hydrochloric acid, volatile chlorides of iron, potassium, and metallic metals. So in short, write it down. Certain compounds ejected are, write it down, certain compounds which are ejected are, so write it down the name. Sulfurated hydrogen, then second लिखो hydrochloric acid, then आपका chlorides of iron, potassium, and other metallic matters. Okay. So this is you can say commercial, from the commercial point of view. That is why the lava is what very useful for the commercial point of view. Jot it down, Akash. Sorry, Karan. Pila?
Yes sir.
ठीक है. अच्छा. Then next देखो क्या है जो हम लोग डिस्कस पहले कर चुके थे. Magma and lava, generally molten rocks material called magma inside the what you can say inside the crust, and outside it is called lava. Lava and magma are divided on the basis of silica. What on the basis of what percentage of silica, इसको भी हम लोग पहले डिस्कस कर चुके हैं एक बार, बट इसको लिख लो. The lava, just write it down. The lava divided into two categories. Lava divided into two categories on the basis of amount of silica percentage. On the basis of amount of silica percentage. On the basis of amount of silica percentage. Write it down. The first one, acidic lava, or you can write it magma, but write it lava. Acidic lava. So don't write it, just read it. High percentage of silica, that is why it is acidic lava. And the second one is basic lava. That is low amount of silica. Basic lava, that is low amount of silica. ठीक है. Then next point करके लिखो, lava also classified into felsic lava and mafic lava. Lava also classified into felsic, FELSIC, felsic lava, and what, mafic lava. Felsic lava and mafic lava. Okay. Then there is also classification has been given, but उसमें हम लोग इतना नहीं जाएंगे. यहाँ पे लिख लो मैफिक लावा, यहीं पे लिख लो और करके, मैफिक लावा और बेसाल्टिक लावा, ये नीचे लिखा हुआ है बेसाल्टिक. There is also a further classification of the lava, but don't go. There is a optional. You can say the information. Mafic lava is also called basaltic lava. ठीक है. Then देखो next point क्या है. Basaltic lava spreads on the ground surface with maximum flow speed from a few kilometer to 100 km per hour. You can imagine ki how frequently or how fast that lava spread in the above the ground surface. ठीक है. A few kilometer to 100 km per hour, and the average flow speed being 45 to 65 km per hour due to the high fluidity and low viscosity. ठीक है. तो इसमें एक शॉर्ट में लिख लो, the average flow speed of basaltic lava, the average flow speed of basaltic lava is between 45 to 65 km per hour. 45 to 65 km per hour. And what is the reason? There are two reasons they given. 45 to 65 km per hour due to, write it down, high fluidity and low viscosity. Write these both words, they will give you in your answer. Okay. High fluidity and low viscosity. Then next point where you लिखो, the average temperature, as you see in this diagram, the average temperature of the lava, don't write it basaltic lava, initially talking about the lava, the average temperature of the lava is between 1000 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. 1000 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. 1000 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. 1200 degrees Celsius. Write it down. 1200 degrees Celsius. Then देखो next क्या है. Lava flow means the speed which it's what spread on the ground surface. Lava flow is divided into two types on the basis of what Havana languages. So just leave it. तो two types क्या है देखो, इसको लिख लो. Flow of lava is of two types. इसको इस तरीके से लिखो. Flow of lava is of two types. So the first one is this one, P Hui. This is the actual photograph. How it's slowly what you can say flowing above the surface. Okay, so write it down this word P Hui Hui या P ही कर लो या P Hoi का होगा pronunciation PAHOE. It is a what a type of lava flow. It is not a type of lava. It is a flow of lava. ठीक है, लिख दिया, jot it down. And the second one, तो ये इसका डायग्राम है, ठीक है. This one is this diagram, and the second one is as a lava flow or block lava flow. This is the actual picture of this type of flow of lava. Block lava flow. Block lava flow. Jot it down. Block lava flow. Block lava flow. Jot it down. Both of you.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, चलो. अब देखो इसमें जो फर्स्ट वन है आपका, जो पुई हुई करके है लावा, इसके बारे में क्या लिखा हुआ है कि पुई हुई लावा हैज हाई फ्लूइडिटी एंड स्प्रेड लाइक थिन शीट. ठीक है, दिस इज आल्सो नोन एज रोपे लावा. मींस योर पुई हुई लावा इज आल्सो नोन एज व्हाट, रोपे लावा. तो पीछे जहां लिखा था पुई हुई वहीं पे स्लैश करके लिख दो, क्योंकि एग्जाम में पूछ सकते हैं. और व्हाट, और करके ये वर्ड लिख दो, रोपे लावा. दिस इज द अल्टरनेटिव नेम ऑफ दिस वन. ठीक है, और इसकी क्या होती है, हाई फ्लूइडिटी होती है, स्प्रेड लाइक अ थिन शीट. ठीक है, गॉट इट. क्लियर, गॉट इट डाउन. ठीक है, बाकी इसमें वही चीजें लिखी उसको हम लोग नहीं पढ़ेंगे, इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. चलो, अब हेडिंग डालना वर्ल्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वॉल्केनोस. राइट इट डाउन. वर्ल्ड, राइट इट डाउन. न्यू हेडिंग, वर्ल्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वॉल्केनोस. वर्ल्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वॉल्केनोस. लिख दिया, वर्ल्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वॉल्केनोस. Jot it down. ठीक है, तो इसमें लिखो on the basis of geographical studies, on the basis of geographical studies, there are three regions or belt. There are three regions or belt where we found active volcanoes. There are three regions or belt where we found active volcanoes. Active volcanoes. So write it down. The first one is Circum-Pacific Belt. The first region, Circum-Pacific Belt. Second one is Mid-Continental Belt. Here you find huge amount of active volcanoes. And the third one is what? Mid-Atlantic Belt. The third one is Mid-Atlantic Belt. Jot it down. Mid-Atlantic Belt. Okay, these are the three regions in the world where you find what? Active volcanoes. The first one is Circum-Pacific Belt. The second one is Mid-Continental Belt. And third one is Mid-Atlantic Belt. So jot it down, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. अच्छा, अब let's see in the global map or map of the world, where are these regions? As you see here, this is actual, you can say the perfect diagram. The first one is what? First क्या लिखाया था मैंने? Circum-Pacific Belt. So you can say this is the region where you find what? Circum-Pacific Belt. ठीक है, मैप की तरफ देखो, look at the map. And the second one is what? Mid-Continental Belt. So we are talking about what? We are talking about the continents which are surrounded the Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है, like the nations of the Africa, this region, or the nations of the what Europe. That comes under the mid-continental belt. You find huge amount of volcanoes around the Mediterranean Sea. And third one is what mid-Atlantic belt. So this is what your Atlantic Ocean, and you find numerous what active volcano in this region. Got it? This is the first region, this is the second region, and this is the third region. Clear? Phila? Karan? Now, first we start from the what? Circum-Pacific belt. Okay, so write it down the heading. Circum-Pacific belt. Circum-Pacific belt. So as you see, this is your what? Equator as it passes. So most of the Circum-Pacific belt or majority of area of Circum-Pacific belt, what comes under the northern hemisphere. Okay, and you can say 20 to 30% of the Circum-Pacific belt comes under the what? Southern hemisphere. So first question is that they will ask you this question in your MCQ examination. Second, if you see the location, it is what is this country? Any idea? जिसको मैंने सर्किल किया है. What is this country? Any idea?
New Zealand, sir. New Zealand.
Okay, that is your New Zealand. That is your what? Australia, and that is what your Japan, and that is Philippines, Indonesia, and these countries. Okay, so here where you find the volcanoes below the what water or on the you can say bottom of the sea or bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so you whenever you got a chance or the scuba diver see the volcanoes are coming from out of the earth and direct and suddenly quickly they come in the contact of the water and becomes what solid. So that is why for the you can say when the human beings are recording these active volcanoes, numerous islands has been what created in this belt. Why islands has been created? Because the lava directly quickly comes in the contact with the water, and when it comes with the contact with the water, it becomes solid. And day after day, year after year, what that region rises above the sea level and becomes what small islands. Got it? Vila? Karan, got it? Why you are
Yes.
see a numerous islands what which are seeing year after year. Okay? Because all the active volcanoes are what in the on the bottom of the ocean. अच्छा देखो अब क्या लिखा हुआ है. The Circum-Pacific belt, also known as volcanic zones of the convergent oceanic plate margin. That is a very important point. Then write it down. The Circum-Pacific belt. Write it down. The Circum-Pacific belt, also known as volcanic zones of the convergent oceanic plate margin. Because here you find what two plates. The first plate is what here, and the plate second is here. Okay. So हमने पढ़ा था शुरू में there are three type of what plate movement. ठीक है. Jot it down. The Circum-Pacific belt, also known as volcanic zones of the convergent oceanic plate margins. Convergent oceanic plate margins. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट देखो क्या लिखा हुआ है. It includes the volcanoes of the eastern and western coastal areas of the Pacific Ocean. ठीक है. So what they are talking about the western coastal areas and they are talking about the eastern coastal areas of the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Then third point देखो, festoons of the east coast of Asia of the volcanic islands scattered over the Pacific Ocean. But they just through these points they just what try to tell you the what area of the Circum-Pacific belt. But as you see the diagram, you'll easily identify. Then देखो next point जो है, this volcanic belt is also called fire girdle of the Pacific or fire ring of the Pacific. So just write it down. This belt also known as, write it down, this belt also known as fire girdle of the Pacific Ocean. This belt also known as fire girdle of the Pacific Ocean or fire ring of the Pacific Ocean or fire ring of the Pacific Ocean. ठीक है, your what, this belt, fire ring of the Pacific Ocean. Jot it down, fire ring of the Pacific Ocean. Then देखो next point क्या लिखा हुआ है, this belt begins from Erebus mountain of Antarctica, ठीक है, and what runs northward through Andes and what Rocky Mountains of the South and North America to reach Alaska, from where this belt turns towards what eastern Asiatic coast, including the volcanoes of the island arcs and festoons. Okay, so you can say these belt are running from here, this part, and what reach to the Asia. बस इतना ध्यान रखना, ठीक है. Then most of the high volcanic cones and volcanic mountains are found in this belt. ठीक है. Then ये लिख लो, Cotopaxi या Cotopaxi is the highest volcanic mountain of the world. Just write it down this word. They will ask you this in your MCQ. Cotopaxi is the highest volcanic mountains. Cotopaxi is the highest volcanic mountains of the world, found in this Pacific Ocean. Yeah, found in this what, circum-Pacific belt. Found in this circum-Pacific belt. Found in this circum-Pacific belt. Found in this circum-Pacific belt. Write it down.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. नेक्स्ट अगर आप देखोगे, नेक्स्ट देखो, the other significant volcanoes are, you can say the other examples. So just write it down. Some other important, or you can write it like this, some other famous volcanoes of this belt are, some other famous volcanoes of this belt are, some other famous volcanoes of this belt are, write it down. Fusiyama, Japan. Fusiyama, Japan. Then Shasta, Rainier, and Hood in North America. In North America. Okay, you can say this is the second, the most famous volcanoes. Then third, write it down, Valley of 10,000 Smokes, Alaska. Valley of, numerous volcanoes you will find in the Alaska. Valley of 10,000 Smokes, Alaska. Now, how they will ask you the question, where is the Valley of 10,000 Smokes? So you're going to take Alaska. Okay, so Valley of 10,000 Smokes, Alaska. Jot it down. Valley of 10,000 Smokes in Alaska. Smokes in Alaska. Then Mount St. Helens. Then write it down, Mount St. Helens, Washington DC, USA. Write it down, Mount St. Helens, Washington DC, USA. Washington DC, USA. Write it down. Then उसके बाद ये Kilauea volcano. It is, you will find in Hawaii Island. In Hawaii Island. And then your what, Mount Taal, Pinatubo, Mayon, you will find in what, all in what, Philippines. They are the very famous volcanoes of this ring of fire. Mount Taal, Pinatubo, and Mayon. Pinatubo and Mayon. And Mayon. And Mayon. Got it? Got it down?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, अब देखो क्या लिखा हुआ है कि why the volcanoes are active in this what, in this circum-Pacific belt. Why they are active? So the reason is that here volcanic eruption or active volcano are primarily caused due to what, collision of American and Pacific plates. ठीक है, and due to subduction of Pacific plates below the Asiatic plates. तो इसको लिख दो, ऐसा करके लिखो, write it down. The reason behind the active volcano in this region, the reason behind the active volcano in this region, in this region, in this region are the reasons behind the active volcano in this region are, right in the first reason. First is what? Collision of American plate with the Pacific plates. Collision of American plate and Pacific plate. Write it down number 1 and उसके आगे ये लिख देना. Collision of American plate and Pacific plate. This is the first reason. And second लिखो, subduction means what? Below jana of Pacific plate below the Asiatic plate. Subduction of Pacific plate below the Asiatic plate. Below the Asiatic plate. हो गया? Clear? Got it down, both of you? These are the two reasons why the volcanoes you will find in this circum-Pacific belt. चलो अब दूसरा हेडिंग डालो, mid continental belt. Mid continental belt. So as I told you earlier that mainly you will find mid continental belt in what? Around the Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है? तो इसमें लिख लो, also known as, that is on the first point, also known as volcanic zone, also known as volcanic zones of convergent continental plate margins, also known as volcanic zones of convergent continental plate margins. Convergent continental plate margins. Then second point लिखो, it includes volcanoes of alpine mountains. You find alpine mountains in the European region. Volcanoes of alpine mountains and Mediterranean Sea. These are the two main regions you can say, and Mediterranean Sea. Jot it down. Alpine mountains and second one is Mediterranean Sea. Jot it down. These are the two regions of the what? Mid-continental belt. Then देखो आपका, the volcanic eruptions are caused due to, in this region, due to convergence and collision of Eurasian plate and African plate and Indian plate. तो इसमें लिखो, the cause of active volcano in this region are, the main cause, ऐसे लिखो, the main cause of active volcano in this region are convergence and collision, ऐसे लिख लो, convergence and collision of Eurasian plates and African plates with Indian plates. Eurasian plates and African plates and Indian plates. ठीक है? Eurasian plates, African plates and Indian plates. We covered the six. There are 6 major plates and 20 minor plates. Okay? They are what? Collision and what? Convergence. That is why the volcanoes are active in this what? Mid continental belt. Jot it down. Eurasian plate and African plate and Indian plate. ठीक है? Then लिखो, some famous volcanoes are, write down these names. Some famous volcanoes are Stromboli, Vesuvius, and Etna. The first Stromboli, second Vesuvius, and you can say Etna. Stromboli, Vesuvius, and Etna. Jot it down. ठीक है, these three volcanoes are mainly found around the Mediterranean Sea. ठीक, फिर लिखो यहाँ पर नेक्स्ट पॉइंट करके some active volcanoes of Eastern Africa are some active volcanoes of Eastern Africa are some active volcanoes of Eastern Africa are, write it down, Kilimanjaro, Meru, Elgon, Virunga and Rungvi. Okay, you can say these are the active volcanoes of this belt and they are mostly found in the Eastern Africa. Kilimanjaro, Meru, Elgon, Virunga and Rungvi. Jot it down. Phila, jot it down.
Yes, sir.
Then देखो next point क्या लिखा हुआ है, mid Atlantic belt. Next heading डालना third, is a third region where you find the active volcano, mid Atlantic region. Mid Atlantic region or mid Atlantic belt. Mid Atlantic belt. So as you see in the diagram, this is the region. This is Atlantic Ocean. You can say this is North Atlantic Ocean. Then this is your what, South Atlantic Ocean. ठीक है. तो देखो इसमें क्या है. It includes the volcanoes mainly along the mid Atlantic ridge. As you see, this is a ridge. See towards the what diagram. This is the ridge. ठीक है. So it includes the volcanoes, means active volcanoes, mainly along the mid Atlantic ridge, which represent the splitting zone of the plains. तो यहाँ पे लिख लो एक पॉइंट पे कि the active volcanoes in this belt found, the active volcanoes in this belt found over the mid Atlantic ridge, over the mid Atlantic ridge. Got it? Over the mid Atlantic ridge. ठीक है, तो ये डायग्राम है, ये आपका, this is what mid Atlantic ridge. ठीक है. Then second point में आके लिखो, mostly volcanoes of this region are fissure type. What is the alternative of the name of this fissure? Correct? क्या बताया था? एक alternative name, fissure type. दो टाइप की volcano बताया था ना, on the basis of explosion.
Quite.
नहीं, अरे एक था आपका explosive volcano और एक था fissure, silent volcano.
Yes, sir. Quite.
हाँ, quite. ठीक है. अच्छा, तो fissure type. ठीक है. फिला, got it?
Yes, sir.
ठीक. अच्छा. फिर देखो next point क्या लिखा हुआ है. The most active volcano area is Iceland, which is located on the mid-Atlantic ridge. If you see the diagram, where you find the Iceland, that is here. ठीक है. So if they ask you कि in the mid-Atlantic belt, 90% volcanoes are found in which country? So you're going to tick Iceland. So please इसको एक point बना के लिख दो, मैं dictate कर रहा हूँ. More than 80% of the active volcano of this belt, more than 80% of the active volcano of this belt, found in Iceland. Found in what? Your Iceland. Found in Iceland. ठीक है, अभी वीडियो ऑफ होगा तो विल टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 10 मिनट्स. अपने आप ही ब्रेक मांग के जाऊंगा. ऑफ आइसलैंड लिख दिया?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. अच्छा, फिर ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि ये जो आपका बेल्ट है, व्हाट, योर मिड अटलांटिक बेल्ट, इसके बारे में देखो लिखा हुआ है. दिस बेल्ट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम हैकला वोल्केनिक माउंटेन ऑफ आइसलैंड. ठीक है, इसको लिख दो.